Hello everybody and welcome to... Where is my... Yeah, my mic is on. Okay, cool. Welcome everybody, Friday. It's time to chill out for a couple hours and see what we can push on with today for the Oil War project. You may also notice that there is better music playing today because I was getting ready, I was sat down and I heard that music in the background, that stuff that we've had since we started these streams, and I went, no more of this. I want music that's a bit more entertaining because I have to listen to it for 2 hours, and so do you lot, as well as me rambling. So, hello Tilaf, hello Manda and Robert, good to see you all today. So, Oil War, we're still on Oil War, however we're in the final stages of getting the armies done, so it's great to actually be at this stage now. As you can see from my incredibly top-down camera today, we're working on some Soviet T-72s, and we'll just see how we can get on with them. If any of you seen the vlog where I was talking about the dust, the airbrush layer that I'd put down, I went over all the vehicles and gave them that light dust all over them, so everything looks a little brighter, a little less heavily shaded and stuff, but it's still there. And when you see how the airbrush has worked along the sides there, and you get that dust build up along the bottom of the side skirts and more heavily over the wheels, I think it suits rather well. It fits in very nicely. So, with better music in place, which puts me in a far better painting mood, we can now chill out. I need a sip of coffee, and then we're going to get stuck into what I'm doing on the T-72s today, which is going to be, we're working initially on they are not Dushkas, can't remember what the name of the machine gun is. We're working on them, and we're working on painting in some optics and stuff on the turrets too, so. Let's get stuck in, shall we? So at this stage, the machine guns on the turrets are all painted in a colour called Necromancer Cloak, which is this from Army Painter. It's kind of a darker, kind of a nice dark grey. And what it does really well is it takes a dry brush and a wash really excellently. Excellently? Very well. So, what I'm going to be doing then is giving them a quick dry brush with, as soon as I find the paint, which I've moved around somewhere. Which colour did I use? It wasn't the darkest one, no, it was a plate mail, I think. Yeah. So we'll be dry brushing it with a bit of plate mail. Hello everybody! So I can't read your name because it's in blue on a black background. So, how is everybody today? Any good plans for the weekend? Let me know in the chat, and I will call you out if you're doing anything particularly interesting or boring. Are you doing your taxes this weekend? I'd hope not, because that's a terrible way to spend your weekend, right? I need to select a brush that's a bit more suitable. I need a smaller dry brush, perhaps. Maybe a dry brush that actually works. Yeah, T-Life, I know you're still looking for certain pieces of armor off that game. No doubt I'll be playing with you over the weekend too. Watching the Six Nations. Not a sporty person, not my favourite thing. Manda, of course. Doing 40k with your Dark Angels and you're not feeling well. I know, I'm not feeling. Alright, there's a teeny brush. That teeny brush might do the trick. It's not the best, in the best of conditions, but it'll do for all we need it to do. So if you're doing machine guns, particularly 15mm, I do recommend painting them this dark grey. Giving them a dry brush of a fairly bright silver, and then we'll give it a black wash, and that'll make it look pretty realistic for the scale. So I'm going to slide you off to one side and just start working my way down the line. Well, I'm in a break from my usual I don't play games tradition. I'm actually going to be playing a game of 40k this afternoon with Justin. I hope, because I've not heard from him in 2 days. He's off this week, so he's cut all communications with friggin' everybody. Because that's what best friends do, right? When they don't want to hear from you, they just switch off and just ignore you. So rude at times. Playing some Drop Fleet Commander. Never done anything so small. It's stressing, yeah. Drop Fleet is strange because the models have such good such detail on them, and you don't want to mess it up. Like, I painted one to look like an old style Cadillac. I even painted the base looking like something off the dashboard, like all chromed and stuff. That stressed me out, and then I was like, am I going to do a whole fleet like this? I want to, but I'm not going to. Hey, don't diss Top Trumps, Robert. Top Trumps is great. He says, never having played it either. I just like the look of the cards. Oh, this music is so much better. Right. I know this is going to look kind of boring and repetitive, but at the same time, there's no better way to production line miniatures than picking a color, chucking on a live stream, and chatting to everybody as you do it. I'm starting to like this more sort of casual Friday feel I want to go for. Right, that's 6 out of the 18. And there's 4 BMPs that need gun barrels done too. Rotten swines. Why did I sign myself up for this? Once we have this done, we then give it all a black wash, and then that's the guns done. Keep it simple. Robert, yes, I have, and thanks to Freddy, actually, from Battlefront, who sent me some reference pictures of the likes of the Golan Heights and stuff like that. We're going to be looking at tables that have a bit more greenery in them, sort of more of an oasis kind of thing, not just flat, plain desert. We're going to look at maybe getting some villages set up and stuff like that. Because it's not all just flat, empty desert in Iraq, Iran, all that sort of area. There is greenery and stuff. My choice of music's keeping you calm now, Teely. That's great. Good to know. It's better than the stuff you play on Discord anyway. All that Irish folk music drives me mad. Yeah, so the tables are going to be very... They're going to be a bit different. They are going to be a bit more sort of green and a few trees and stuff like that. At the same time, though, I kind of don't want the tables to be too built up, because then, you know, these are two very armor-heavy armies. Will I be painting up my own Titanicus Legion? When I buy one, yeah. And it won't be the same as the one we did in here on a live stream either, so... I need to find out when Invigilata was created in Titanicus. Like, were they around in the Heresy period, or were they formed later? Because I would love to do Legio Invigilata, because they're from, like, the Hell's Reach novel, and the Hell's Reach novel is one of the finest 40k books I've ever read, bar none. And of course, because Richard Boylan spent the last 2 years animating the audiobook, which is insane and absolutely amazing. I still watch it on repeat occasionally. Nearly done. Invigilata, yeah. I think it's my accent that makes it sound like a type of ice cream. A type of ice cream. Invigilata flavor. And what does that taste like? It tastes like oil in victory. Hello, Tauros. No, I started on time. Maybe a minute late. Better than sulfur and defeat. Yep. I would really like to get some of the Warhound Titans and a couple of Reavers. I wonder, you know, I'd be tempted to run a very light sort of demi-legio, sort of mostly Reavers and Warhounds. Because as much as the Warlords are lovely looking models, they just look... Well, to me anyway, they look really ungainly on the table. That is, of course, until they decide that they're going to make something bigger. This was starting in 60 minutes. That's... Yeah, to be fair, the countdown timers are a bit naff. I think we could drop the countdown timers a bit and just have a big flashy button that says starting at this time GMT and or whatnot. Because one timer will be right and one timer will be off by like 5 minutes, even though they're running off the same code. I don't know what causes that. Right, BMPs. Get the teeny tiny turret of the BMP. Okay, just kind of polish the barrel up a bit. I know that sounds wrong. Gone a bit overboard. 2 Reavers, 4 Warlords, really? I mean, yeah, okay, they've got the big guns. And they're probably very hard to take down, but... Hughes have. Of course, I know that pain very well. Oh yeah, yeah. I think if you follow us on Twitch, it'll give you a notification when we go live. But yes, that is technomancy. That requires us to understand the machine, and no one needs to understand the machine. Right, that is the dry brushing on all the little machine guns, all the teeny tiny machine guns. So we can give them all a dark tone wash now. Right, do I have any dark tone left? I do. I have plenty of dark tone. So we get the dark tone down, then we'll work on the optics of the vehicles. Now, I wonder how well you'll be able to see how the wash goes down on it. And when that's dry, that will look pretty decent. I remember saying to myself at the start of this project, we're just going to speed paint them. We're now, what, 2 weeks later? 3 weeks later? Since we started the build? Yeah. And the hinds aren't even finished yet. Which we're probably going to be moving on to today as well. Because this and painting in some periscopes and stuff is really the last step I want to take with the tanks. The Iraqi side is already done, it's just down to the Soviet side. New Chaos Demon engine and its rider. See, I haven't looked at the images yet properly. Because I'm not a Chaos person, I don't really look at it. Then again, I was tempted to actually look at it properly, I think last night, but I got distracted. I mean, I could just look at it now, couldn't I? Are any of the tanks going to be pink? Oh, they're not! Manda's in the chat though, I think. Manda's probably busy, so let's see. Let's have a look right now at the new Chaos Demon engine. See if I can find an image of it. Where is it? Oh, there it is. I just want the image bigger. Just let me see the image. So this guy. Hey, it looks cool. That looks alright. It's a bit strange that he has leather, what look like leather reins on it, but it seems okay. It's Chaos, and to me Chaos is just too wibbly wobbly. That's a technical term, by the way, the wibbly wobbly. It's too wibbly. No, which turret was I on? Was I on this one? Did I already watch this one? I have. See what you're making me do. There's one we haven't done. See, the new Abaddon looks utterly gorgeous. I would buy that miniature and I would paint it. Just because it looks friggin' cool. It's certainly miles ahead of the previous version. Problem is now that I've started a Black Templar army, I'm going to be so sick of painting black that when I come around to painting Abaddon, I'm just going to be like, I'm just going to paint in fluorescent yellow just for badness and watch people cry. Manda, I'm going to propose an idea to you. All right, I'm going to propose an idea. I may have mentioned this in Hobby Hangout this week. I just can't. Actually, I probably have. I just can't remember. I have sitting in my house one of the Noise Marines, one of the Noise Marine miniatures with the guitar. Would you like me to paint that pink just for you? Would you appreciate that? Would that be enough, or do I have to paint the tank? So I'll paint a pink Noise Marine for you then, Manda. Okay. It'll be enough for a while. Well, for a while is good enough for me then. Glow-in-the-dark fluorescent pink. Here's the problem with glow-in-the-dark paints. You never want to be in a dark room with your miniatures, because you're going to step on them or make them fall off your shelf. I mean, it would look cool just for the novelty value. Right then, so I will see next week, for the live stream next week, I will see if I can do the Noise Marine. Which means I probably need to borrow pink paint off Lozzie, since I don't have a huge repertoire of pink paints. Because if you're playing Night Fight, yeah. So the way to play Night Fighting for me would be using blacklight and have the table completely lit with blacklight. The problem with that is then you're only going to see certain parts of the models and certain parts of the terrain, which is kind of cool too. And you'll see any messes people make. I'll paint along with some demonettes, that'll be cool. I was about to say I've always had a soft spot for demonettes, but I'm pretty sure that's not the correct term when you're talking about Slaanesh. Yeah, only Space Marines would. must be visible at all times. Yeah, quite possibly the opposite. There's a question I do not know, Taurus. Yes, we all have to be polite on Twitch. It's been ages since I've seen a Keeper of Secrets. I will assume that's a really cool blog that I can't look at right now. Yeah, lighting for a gaming table is something that we've taken quite seriously in the visitor center for the club members, because it just adds so much atmosphere. It may not make your miniatures look as well painted as you've tried. Some of your effort might be hidden a little bit, but you're getting an atmospheric side of it, which is great. Absolutely perfect. I have to remember to drink my coffee before it goes cold. Hello, Warren. Hello. Are you? Oh no, I haven't touched that yet. Bye everybody. Bye. And the ghost Warren appears. I don't know if you heard him or not. I'm sure you did. I love keeping gun barrel stuff simple like this. A quick dry, a base of dry brush and a little wash over it. Really doesn't need to be any more complicated than that. Exactly, and yeah, adding flickering tea lights and stuff. And what we did for the Fabled Realms beta weekend was we got the LEDs you put into balloons, this little twisty to turn them on, and they last for like 2-3 hours. So we set them all up across all the gaming space and switched all the lights off, and it was like looking at a winter, essentially a winter wonderland, because all these little houses with all the snow on top of them had these little warm lights, shining inside the rooms and stuff. And it was the most cinematic I've ever seen a gaming table look. With all the lighting dulled or darkened, just all these little yellow LEDs shining through everything. It was so gorgeous. That's probably it's probably the public, the most pride I've had in an event probably since the Team Yankee boot camp, I think. Because when we've seen it all together, it was spectacular. In fact, if there's anyone in the chat that's able to access that video of the Fabled Realms beta weekend, you know, just the table reveal with all the lights and stuff on, please share it in the chat if you can. Yeah, the 3D Space Hulk one, yeah, probably. Hello, Bob. Yes, at the minute I'm just painting in, or finishing off some gun barrels for some BMPs. And then, with that done, I'm now moving on to some optics. Hello, Steve! Doing well, mate, how are you? Yeah, the Team Yankee bootcamp was fantastic. Playing in Lloydislavia, it was a lot of fun. Righto. Periscopes and other. Hello, Jerry. You see you got home alright? Or did you get home? Or are you still here? Ambots. The Ambot looks cool. I have to admit, the Ambot looks really cool. Right, for periscopes. I'm using two colors mixed together. So I'm using a deep blue and a matte black. 2 parts blue, 1 part black. It's wind and hail. Oh dear. Problem is that with this mix, the black really can overpower the blue. I'm gonna add a bit more blue. So what I'm ending up with is this very deep, sort of deeper than a Prussian blue. It's a very deep blue. So that's what I'm going for the periscopes and stuff. Just because it's not pure black, and if it's pure black, it looks a little bit just like a hole. But I think your eye sort of catches the blue tone just enough. It'll probably just look black under the camera though, but so on the T72, gonna do I think this is the gunner's primary sight. I'm not gonna name all the optics because I just don't know them. That's really all I'm doing on the turret, is just a few. And we're not even doing any on the hull of the T-72s because the periscope is so minuscule on the miniature, it doesn't really matter. It's just a way of breaking up the solid colour. Oh hey Lena, good to see you. Are you sneaking onto the stream while you're at work again? Hmm. You're actually off work. How dare people like watch entertaining things while they're at work, or do entertaining things while they're at work? Aren't I at work right now? Touche, Steve. Touche. Oops. Almost thought I broke a gun barrel there. Right. Keep going. We can maybe see if we can finish these today. This is the last step on them, so. See, the conversation's flowing and I'm just sort of sat here like... But it's cool. We have nicer music today, so. Being an adult. An audit even. Hey, laughing boy. Good afternoon to you. I'm desperate to finish work so I can try and beat Justin at 40k, but I don't think it's going to happen. I'm pretty sure it's not going to happen. Who am I playing in 40k? I'm playing my Stone Templar, my Space Marines today. Since they're actually finished, I've actually completely done them. Because I'm not adding any stuff out to them from the likes of Shadow Spear releases. So I'm considering that army done now that I've started laying into the Black Templars that Bugger Off so kindly sent for me. Or sent me. Of course it's tanks. Well, my Templars are running as they're running as Imperial Fists because that just suits them. So yeah, we'll see how Imperial Fists work against Ultramarines. All I need to do is out Justin the Justin. It's not actually possible. Do you know, Steve, I used to have an army that I think had 12 Leman Russ in it. 2 Vanquishers, one was the Forge World Mars Alpha pattern, and it was gorgeous. And then I had like a bunch of Punishers and bits and bobs like that, a load of battle cannons in it. But for some reason, I just looked at it after a while and went, I'm done with this, and sold it. I wish I hadn't, because in that army was a Lucius pattern Baneblade from Forge World, and its certificate number was 1001. And I so regret selling that, but at the same time I know the person that it went to and they love it, so it's just such a shame they don't build Lucius pattern stuff anymore. I'm very disappointed that Lucius pattern doesn't exist anymore. It's all Mars pattern. Yeah, I hope my game goes a lot better. Now, Steve, Lucy's pattern is far superior to everything else. I don't care what you say. Even the Lucius pattern Warhound was friggin' amazing looking. None of this Mars pattern, soft, friggin' curvy armor. None of that. I prefer my Titans to look like they are just walking skyscrapers. Skyscrapers that look proper rather than friggin' rubbish. Steve, here's the thing, right? I've so much book's head. You're not entirely wrong, but it's far better designed, man. Far better designed. So, yeah. Lucy's pattern for the win. I mean, come on. The Bane Blade looked far better in Lucius pattern than it did in the Mars pattern that Forge World made and the subsequent plastic kit. It looked like a functional vehicle. It's like an Ulster bus going. Yeah, but at least some of those buses that were 30 plus years old still worked. See, I've not looked much at the Siege of Rack stuff. I do like me the Mars Alpha pattern Lehman Russ hull, because it looks as good as a Lucius pattern anything. And doesn't have ridiculous stupid curves on it. Maybe that's why I haven't bought Titanicus yet. Because everything's Mars pattern in it. I'll have to have a look at some of the Vrax stuff. Because the only Forge World book I own is the Modeling Masterclass. Lucius pattern knights would be amazing. Like standard knights, not... See, some of the Forge World knights are gorgeous too. Absolutely stunning looking. $3 mil sci-fi. Right. Let's see what we want to do optics-wise on a BMP. We'll do that. That looks like it's got a cover on it. There's actually a lot of periscopes on this that would all be pretty easily painted. I only have the first Masterclass book. I never got round to getting the second one. I'm not going to bother doing the back periscopes. Just keep around the turret and the cupola. Yeah, I think that'll be enough. Because again, you only need it to look like they're there. Also forgot to note, and I haven't mentioned it in a vlog yet, that I went over the grills. So this grill here on the BMP is the exhaust port, so it's got a black wash in there, and this one is over the engine compartment, so it's got a brown wash in there, just to make them stand out a bit more. That's really about it. Some of the Iraqi stuff got the same, and I'll mention it in the next vlog we put out for the project too, which will probably be Monday, perhaps Tuesday. Depends on what the workload is like at the minute. Here, do the Shears tanks, yeah. I do love the deathcore of Krieg. I had at one point I had actually figured out that I wanted to do a deathcore army, and I bought like 2 models, like 2 sets, one infantry set of grenadiers and 1 basilisk. And after having struggled with the resins for a while, and got them painted to a way I liked, I then just gave up on the idea entirely. Hey Lozzie! Were you doing your routines and stuff? Doggo stuff, yeah. Oh, hang on, is that a... I think that's a periscope in front of the searchlight. Well, best not ignore it and actually get it painted on the first one too then. I agree, Steve. I really would love to do a deathcore of Krieg army. Perhaps maybe I should just do an armored deathcore of Krieg army rather than look at a lot of infantry. But do it right, you know, have all the Krieg sort of aesthetic on all the Leman Russ. Paint you as well. Yeah, Lozzie, I decided that I was sick and tired of hearing that same little sort of heartbeaty, pulsy music, so I wanted something a bit more upbeat today. I think it's working. We have more viewers this week than we did last. Totally putting that down to the choice of music. I have a feeling that Tim and Steve are trying to... Well, maybe not Steve so much, but there's a lot of people who are now starting to talk nice things about Deathcore of Krieg tanks, which is dangerous, and I think they know it. I think they're doing it on purpose. That's okay. I really need to get my Black Templar done before I pick up another army. And probably finish my knights as well, because I still have 1 knight left to fully paint. And still have Canis Rex to technically finish. Alright. Lozzie, don't start on the everything else thing. Don't start. Right. Halftime break, guys. We're going to be back in a couple of minutes. I have a feeling the music's going to cut out, but it'll come back. I'll come back in with my little painting intro and the tank thing again so that you won't... So that you'll get startled into the reminder that I'll be back. What's going on here? Ugh, Steve, I'll be right back. Stop it. And we're back. And we're back with the good music. So, we have the optics done on the T72s. I'm going to call them finished. It's time to move on to the hinds. So we have 4 hinds to work on. Wibbles. But... yeah, the intro is fantastic. I enjoyed filming that. Ramming the tiger through a bunch of hobby products. Why not? Should have done it with the Chally instead now, but hey ho. So, before I move on, do you remember weeks ago I was doing the checker pattern on that dreadnought? Do you want to see how that turned out? Because I have it sat right here now and it's ready to go out and play against Justin tonight. So, if you want to see that, let me know in the chat and I will certainly be more than happy to show it off. I'm going to get my other drink out here. So, I do warn you guys, because it's a tabletop army, it's not the finest painting. So, here you go. Here is the results. Do you know what? I'm going to move the camera. Because the camera's just awkward. There you go. Now, can I get him into focus? Kinda. In fact, let's stick autofocus on here for a sec. See if I can set it up to do that. Focus, auto. Let's see what that looks like. That's actually looked a little worse. The focus looks worse. Why does the focus look worse? It's on auto, for goodness sake. There's as tight as it's gonna get. So yeah, that's how the checker pattern turned out over time. Do you know, it's tidy enough for being freehand work. I definitely think if I was to do it at a higher level, I would be masking it. But other than that, I'm quite content with it. So you turned out okay. Focus is fine, paint is fuzzy. I'm trying to have a SIM card in it. It may as well. Never trusty webcam autofocus. No, never trusty. So that's how he turned out. Quite happy with him. So as you can see, we have all those T72s hanging around over here, and those BMPs. And now there's hinds over here looming in the corner that now need a bit of work. So, compliment my Krieg force. Steve, stop it. I don't need another one just yet. Not yet anyway, right? How's the focus on that? Probably terrible. So let's... oh hey, that's not bad. That's fine. That works. That's okay. So here's one of the hinds. If you haven't seen the vlogs, it was masked with blue tack, airbrushed. First it was airbrushed green, then the blue tack was put down, then it was airbrushed in that yellowy colour. Then the bottom was blue tacked, and we put the blue for underneath it there as well. And since then we've applied some transfers, painted the canopies and the windows black, and given them the slightest blue wash just to catch the edges. So, nice offset. Do you know, guys, I am tempted to paint some Deathcore tanks. Now stop it. I suppose really it is just a detachment, right? I could just add a couple of squadrons of tanks as a detachment, just have them. Right, what I want to do with the hind is panel line. So we're going to be panel lining the door and a few other bits and bobs around here. I'm not going to go too crazy with it, just because I don't want to. So, is that still my dark tone there? It is. It's still good by the looks of it. So I'm going to use a smaller brush, I think. Breaking news, John wants to paint tanks. I know. At least you know what you're getting with me, you know. I'm a simple creature. I like my tanks to be Lucius pattern. I like my things to be Lucius and rivety. Alright, so a bit of dark tone wash, we're just going to put it into these panel lines around the doors and that. Lucius pattern T55s would look hilarious. There'd be rivets all over them for no reason whatsoever. This is Army Painter Dark Tone. So that's what I'm using there, straight from the bottle, not thinned. To be fair, if you wanted to, you could add a bit of flow improver to it to let it spread a bit more evenly, because the Army Painter wash tends to not settle that evenly, although that looks okay. But this is the way to get that contrast and that detail into the model. So, and to be fair, there isn't that many panel lines on the hind, so it's really just the doors. But the doors, you know, having that on the doors helps. Yeah, not bad. Hey Congo dude, nice to see you. No, I didn't. I totally forgot. Funko Pop Abrams. I totally forgot about that. It does, doesn't it? It just... I know it can kind of look a little cartoony, but the fact that these models are going to be under camera, and the cameras are going to be at a fair distance from them, you want the details, even from that distance, to be quite apparent. And I think even from a gaming distance of 2-3 feet, this will look, you know, it'll look better the further away you are from it. Yeah, that looks decent enough. I don't really think there's any other panel lines to hit on the hind. Yeah, not really. So it's just really the side doors and then the canopy or the cockpit door. So yeah, leave that one to the side and we'll bring the next one in. I think, is this one I already? No. There was one of these I'd actually started doing it to and then stopped for whatever reason. I can't remember why. I think anybody that got into Team Yankee Congo is really just got a lot of it. Right. And for those of you that have been in the stream long enough to notice that the music is looping, I will be changing it. I think week to week I'm probably just going to find a nice set of music that runs for a couple hours that just sounds cool. Nothing too heavy or anything like that, just something fun. Upbeat. That's 2 down. Number 3.
Sound is ringing. They don't know what they're missing. Legs ain't got time to lay low. Your knees are bending, so it's time to get up and let go. Hey, brother, listen steady. Put down your brick, you ready. It's hard when things get messy. Keep booty shaking, you know your head has no right to say no. Tonight it's ready, set, go. Baby, can you move around the rhythm so we can't get within just a round? Get us a rock and roll round. Let's down, down, body, body, coming with the super hottie. Let's go. So hell no. Baby, can you move around the rhythm? Cause you know I'm living in the fast lane. Speed up, it ain't no game. Just turn up all the beams when I come up on the scene.
GDSF, I doubt in Team Yankee respects would be deployed. Unless something very serious happened, I doubt you would see Japanese forces in Team Yankee. But would they expand? Would it expand to Asia? You know what? I would genuinely like to have this conversation and see what we think could actually happen to bring Japan and China into it. Because in the 80s, see, I'm really trying to remember my sort of more modern world history. Yeah. But Japan wouldn't have anything to offer as a territory grab. You know, they're not an empire anymore. They're basically on the home islands. And the home islands don't really have much to offer as far as land, resources, all that sort of stuff. Right, that's number 3 down. Once that dries, it won't look just as stark as the way it is when it's put on fresh. At least that's my hope. Well, military bases, yeah. But in that regard, you may as well just go for the Americans. Just ignore Japan altogether, because Japan would most likely stay out of it if you didn't provoke them. Perhaps, Tim, yeah. But I think Japan was, you know, in the 80s was still very much focus on ourselves, you know, keep our interests safe, and their interests didn't really, or don't really go as far as many of the other countries in the world did at the time, around that time. Well, yeah, about getting resources, yeah. So I mean, that was part of the Second World War expansion, or the pre-Second World War. The precursor, one of the precursors to the Second World War. But perhaps... Stop crushing my hopes. I do apologize. Okay, it's fine. They're gonna bring Gundams. And if you haven't noticed here, do you see this? This is what happens when you're stood outside spraying matte varnish onto a model and it starts to rain. That's what happens. Yeah, wasn't the Gundam TV series, like, the first TV show came out in, like, the early 80s and or late 70s? No, it was probably even earlier than that. I don't honestly know. I know it was cheesy as all hell. I know the music was terrible. 74. I've watched the original series. I've watched it, and it's just as cringy as I thought it would be. it stands up okay. It stands up okay, but all things considered, it does show its age. You know, particularly in the animation style. I'm sure some of you are going to hate me for it, but I didn't like Akira. I watched Akira and I couldn't get through it. Patlabor, yes. Absolutely. All about Patlabor. Alright, what do we want to do now? So the hinds have their... We have the rotor blades to put back on. But what I am going to do is give the canopies a gloss varnish, I think. It would be a good time to give them a gloss varnish so we can see what the final sort of glassy look is. Because they've already got a good coat of matte varnish, they don't need another layer of that. Yeah, India-Pakistan would be interesting. But I have a feeling that Pakistan would probably fall in along with what's happening probably with the rest of the Middle East. But you never know what Asia would do. Right, I am looking for... where are my washes at? Where are my washes and varnishes? Huh? That's not what I'm looking for in there. Neither is that. Vallejo paints, there's washes and varnishes. We need a gloss. Is that a gloss? Nope. I need that at some point. Pardon me guys, I am rifling through a big box of washes and varnishes because I know I have a gloss. There it is. Ugh. So, we're going to go over the hinds again on the canopies. Continue the political speculation. Yeah. There's enough political speculation in the world right now. Never mind us thinking about what the next cool expansion to Team Yankee would be. I mean, hell guys, Oil War isn't even out yet, so let's all get that first and let's enjoy it. Yeah, Tim, I've heard about it, and I do actually want to try and give it a go at some point. But I need the Gundams for it, so. I think Justin and I were actually talking about getting onto the skirmish game and giving it a try. Also, you've never built a Gundam before, Steve? Oh boy. Yeah, HGs are really cheap. High grades are really cheap. To be fair, even master grades are still acceptable, you know, money-wise. Well, I'll tell you what, Steve. If you ever get into more Gundam stuff, I would recommend for your painting and your weathering to find a real grade, the 1-144 real grades. They are the most beautiful engineered model kits I have ever worked on. I have a Zaku at home that's a real grade, and I really must finish it because I remember how beautifully put together that kit was. A fully articulated skeleton molded on the sprue. Friggin' amazing. Oh, you've got a perfect grade. I wish I could afford a perfect grade. What's the red one called? Sasabi? See, Sasabi has so many different iterations now, especially with the more recent Gundam Unicorn and stuff, where it's now the Shinanju, or they've rebuilt it, or they've built a new one called it Shinanju instead of Sasabi. Sasabi. A resin Zaku? I've never seen a resin one. Oh, and so I have to say now, guys, some of you may not have seen it, but I have a 1/100 garage kit from a company that doesn't exist anymore called Elon Hobby, and they did a 1/100 Kshatriya from Unicorn with a full LED kit, working hydraulics and all that sort of stuff in it. It took me 2 years to build. As Lozzie says, cash is amazing. You get to look at that Kshatriya every night. Oh yeah, and my RX 78 too and all that. And my tall geese if I ever finished it. Joe Rumble, there's a company that does a resin cast 1/100 Kshatriya, which looks really cool too. I think it's a hell of a lot cheaper than the garage kit was. Well, Congo, with the way this is kind of what I like to do with canopies. I like to paint black, paint a matte black, get a blue wash, and go around the edges, or give it a good wet coat of it and let it settle down. And hopefully, when this dries, you'll actually see that blue wash as a sort of a tint on underneath the gloss varnish. Well, this at the minute is gloss varnish, but the wash I was using underneath, you'll see it on this one now that it's a bit drier. That wash I'm using is, if I can find it again, it's a secret weapon wash, guys. It's called Cool Grey. So if you look up secret weapon wash Cool Grey, that's what I'm trying, or that's what I'm using, and then putting a gloss varnish over it. Yeah, the thanks Jerry for reminding me. Actually, all those I think those recipes are pretty available, aren't they? I must finish my real grade. Yeah, Les came up with those washes, didn't he? Didn't he sell the recipes to Secret Weapon? I can't remember how exactly that went down. You have 7 are real grade Zaku's. And here was me struggling with 1. Rumble. My mate. Stop it. Then again, I'm painting and weathering mine as I build it. Or I was when I was building it. Yeah, I thought he sold the formula. Do you know what? I do miss Awesome Paint Job's YouTube channel. I know it's still around, but I mean, you know, he's not doing it anymore. And it's kind of sad. Unless he's changed channels and I just haven't noticed at all. Which wouldn't be that surprising to me because I don't really watch a lot of miniature painting stuff at home. I'm gonna take a couple of minutes here. Let my back straighten out again. Oh, dearie me. Right, where were we? He's still going with LB Miniatures? Alright, okay. I'll have to check him out again. I missed the dude. I used to talk to him on Google Plus. Him and a bunch of the other YouTube painters. They were all so nice guys. Right, that's all the hinds glossed up. So let's see if there's one dry enough to kind of show the finished effect. Depends how heavy the wash went down. Do you know what, they're alright, I'll just leave them be. Are you dry? Yeah, so there's one that's dry, and you can see that blue wash just down at the bottom of the canopy. It just adds a little something to it without, here's the thing, without needing a lot of skill and a lot of patience and time. You know, you could blend these canopies up so beautifully and just seriously enjoy the process and make something that looks wonderful. Or if you're looking for something that just gives it a bit of extra beyond being a black matte black finish or a gloss black finish, just that little touch of another color just lifts it up a bit. And that's always my aim. I always try to make it tabletop quality with a little more, and I don't like going completely insane. Even on my Stone Templars, I'm like, you know, I really should have went insane on these, but I didn't bother. So the Black Templars are going to be a different story, though. They are going to be, quite possibly, thanks to Brushstroke and his fantastic Black Templar tutorial, they're going to look a bit better, but they're going to take a lot longer. So, I'm waiting for stuff to dry. I have not much else I can achieve right now. So guys, I think we're going to call it for this week. And I want to tell every one of you that you're all awesome, and it's been great chilling out with you today, as it is every week. If you have any music requests, send me a private message on beastsofwar.com or on tabletop.com. And yeah, I'll try and change the music up a little bit. I'm enjoying the more upbeat style to it. So yeah, thank you Lena and Lozzie. Lozzie, I'll be seeing you in a couple hours because you'll be coming to adjudicate the match between myself and Justin later. Congo, Jerry, Steve, all you guys have been fantastic this week. It's been great chatting with you. Now get started on those Krieg. So apparently next week, thanks to Manda, I may possibly be painting my Noise Marine, and I will possibly be painting him in pink. So you guys have that to look forward to next week. So until then, have a great weekend, and I will see you on vlogs next week on OnTableTop.com. Again, thanks very much, take care of yourselves, and bye-bye.